Hello students, welcome to BTech 360. What I'm about to discuss with you is an extremely important subject for those people who as of now pursuing PCM in class 11th and 12th. And the question that keeps bothering you is, should you continue to do BTech after passing out, after finishing your class 12th, or what are the other options if you are a PCM student? A very, very important pertinent question for you. Because India has about 12 million students who are right now doing in class 11th and 12th in STEM. But the number of students who get onto BTech is only about 37-38 lakh, and every year is about 13-15 lakh students. Now, what happens to the others? What should you do if you're a PCM student in class 12th? And the conversation about BTech at this point in time is how relevant it is if you have to get into BTech at this point in time, and you're passing out or graduating in 2030. Is BTech in its current form, its current curriculum and pedagogy, is it relevant when you are actually graduating in 2030 if you're going to admit yourself in 2026? That's a very important and pertinent question. And if you look at data around it, with AI really gobbling up a lot of jobs, there is a very, very serious concern about whether the outcomes that have been achieved for a PCM student who got into BTech in 2020 or 2025, would it be the same when you move on 3, 4, 5 years from now? And before I move further and start talking about this, the details of this, what I'm about to say, please, there are 3 things that I always tell students. 1, please subscribe to BTech 360. 2, if you want to talk to us personally, there's a WhatsApp number, write to us or message us and our counselor will call you up. And 3, if you want me to cover anything which is of importance to you, write to me in the message box, I'll try to cover that for you. If you look at numbers, they're mind-boggling at this point of what we're looking at. Very recently, there's a report that's come out which said that 85% of engineering graduates are still unplaced as of 2026, and this is a story that came out just about a week back. There's another thing that also came out which essentially said that while 85% of students are unplaced, 88% of the employers are still hiring. So what it means is that the jobs are there, but the skills are not there. And possibly the skills that the companies are looking for is the AI skills possibly. There's another data point also that's very important. If you look at the ITES services, the top 5 IT companies that we have in the country have recruited next to nothing. Just about 17 employees is what they added in the last 9 months. The top 5 companies. Whereas last year at the same time, they added about 18,000 employees. So the campus hiring by the large ITES companies is dropping out. If you remember the conversation that's come from Elon Musk and Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, they very clearly said, focus on pure sciences because BTech might become slightly irrelevant. And many of the professions that were created out of a BTech from the computer sciences department is now possibly going to be gobbled up by AI itself. In that context, what must you do? Core engineering was always a problem, and now you also have a BTech CS or any of these computer sciences things being questioned for its outcomes if you were to graduate in 2030. With those kind of reports that are coming out, what should you do? And that is one question that we wanted to answer for all of you. Now, we don't have all answers of what the future looks like, but we have one simple answer, that if your foundational skill sets, if your fundamentals in pure sciences is intact, you will still find a way of gaining out of that and getting yourself a great career. Or at least you'll be resilient, at least you'll be flexible, because your foundations, your concepts, your fundamentals about these pure sciences, it can be physics, chemistry, mathematics, anything that you have, or even zoology and biology, if they are very strong, then you still will find a way of wading through these uncertainties and still finding a great career path for yourself. Which is what we're going to address now at this point in time, because that's very crucial for all students that is out there. Now, when I looked at the entire thing and we started speaking with people, including vice chancellors and educationists and even industry people, there is one thing that came out. A lot of students think that for every PCM student, the default pathway is only BTech. Now, the problem in Indian context is many of these BS programs are completely underwhelming. In the sense that they were becoming a default option, then a very serious option for the kind of pedagogy curriculum and the student outcome and career outcome that they would give. But increasingly with some of the INIs that you have, which is the institutions of national importance, which are the ICERs and many such institutions like Indian Statistical Institute, Chennai Mathematics Institute. There are quite a few programs that are coming up, Indian Institute of Science for that matter. They've started giving a lot of undergrad programs which have very, very strong fundamentals and possibly a fantastic career outcome also. On the other hand, you also have a lot of other new age universities, the liberal universities, that don't go for a BTech program, but still give you a very, very good student outcome, which is a great job and a great career path. And that is what we're going to talk about. So So what we did was we clubbed the non-BTech programs into 4 buckets. Of course, so this is essentially a program of what are the career path for a PCM student beyond BTech. Very clearly, we're talking of beyond BTech. So there are 4 buckets that we put this entire thing into. What are the 4 buckets? The first bucket is pure sciences. And you actually have lots of great institutions that are offering pure sciences programs. And I told you, pure sciences, if you do it, you will be resilient, you will be flexible, and you will be able to create or carve out your own career path because your concept level understanding of the subject, the pure science, or the fundamentals of the subject are very, very good with you, and you will be able to carve out a pathway for yourself. So one is the pure sciences so we're talking of pure, PCM students, and what are the 4 buckets that we're talking about? The first bucket is the pure sciences bucket. The second one is analytics and data. So if you are very interested in analytical and data kind of thing, then there's another bucket that we created. Third one is if you're very creative, right, or you really have a design element, then that's the third bucket for you. And the fourth bucket is professional track. We'll talk of each of these 4 buckets and what are the career paths that you have, and that is the thing that we are working on at this point in time. Now let's talk about the pure sciences bucket. What are the options that you have if you want to, be involved in pure sciences only? Who should do it? What are the kind of courses that are there? And what are the kind of institutions that are there? This is what we're going to answer that. Now the first thing is, who should be the student who will actually do the pure sciences thing? What kind of person should it be who will do the pure sciences, right? You must be a curious mind who asks why more than how. A lot of students say, how does it? But more importantly, you must ask, why is it happening? When you actually have that bent of mind, the curiosity that wants to understand why is certain thing happening, then you are meant for a pure sciences thing. If you enjoy deep concepts, right, and not just problem solving. Problem solving can also be a bit more memory based and those kind of things. But if you want to understand deep concepts and start analyzing the concepts dramatically, then pure sciences is meant for you. Similarly, if you have very strong mathematical grounding and abstract thinking also, right, then again pure sciences is meant for you. You also should be comfortable with long-term and not linear careers. So when you do pure sciences, you are not definite about what exactly you will do, but the pathway will emerge as you keep moving on. Whereas, which means that the goal is slightly long-term and it is not very, very linear, not very, very definitive. And you must understand that if you agree on this part, then pure sciences is meant for you. And you should be open to research. You should be reading a lot of stuff. You must be, reading case laws and studies and research papers and those kind of things. That's what it should be. So it should be very, very research inclined. You should be very, very, dealing with global academia, working on research papers as much as you can. Then pure science is meant for you. So if you're very curious, if you enjoy deep concepts, if you are strong in mathematics, if you're comfortable with long-term and non-linear careers, and you're open to research, then pure sciences is meant for you. Now, what are the kind of programs that you have for pure sciences? Obviously, one needs to talk about that also. So what we'll do is we'll list out some of the programs. By the way, what I'm about to talk is not exhaustive. It's not exhaustive. It is indicative, and it is a bit of few examples is what I'm taking here. There would be a lot many courses that will be out there, and I might have missed out a lot many of them. But this is only to give you an idea of what kind of courses are there if you're interested in pure sciences, and what kind of institutions give those kind of programs. For example, you have, obviously all of you know of BSc Physics, BSc Mathematics, BSc Chemistry, BSc Statistics, and BSc Astronomy Physics, right? But there is also an integrated approach to the whole thing. You actually can do a dual degree program, which is BS MS 5 years, or BS research programs. Indian Institute of Science offers one such program, which is actually a research program. It's a 4-year program. Or an integrated MSc program, or a BStat. Now, statistics is a lot more in demand increasingly, along with mathematics. So you should be looking at that. And BMath. Now, BMath is Bachelor's of Mathematics, of course. Now, the important thing that you must know is, till up to a point in time, mathematics was a pure science. Now, it is merged with a lot more with even a BTech program. And the reason is simple. With AI coming to the fore, anyone who understands mathematics far better has a greater grounding, understanding, and can find greater success if you understand mathematics. Because entire AI is built on mathematics, your understanding of mathematics. So if you have a very strong grounding on mathematics, you understand concepts of mathematics, you understand the fundamentals of mathematics, and you have a foundational understanding of mathematics, then you actually have a far, far better op. And same with pure other sciences like physics, chemistry, math, and so on and so forth. right? And you have multiple programs, as I said. You look at all the ISERs that you have in the country. They actually give you very, very good courses on pure sciences. It can be all the ISERs, all the 7 of the campuses, or ISA Calcutta. ISA has now 4 campuses, one in Delhi also. And the Indian Statistical Institute also is offering a lot of undergrad programs at this point in time. And they have fantastic programs on pure sciences, largely to do with mathematics and statistics. ISC Bangalore has started a few programs, including research programs for undergrad program based on pure sciences. Similarly, Chennai Mathematical Institute, which is possibly the best mathematical institute the country has ever had, they also have now got into undergrad programs on mathematics and statistics and something similar to that, including computer sciences and those kind of things, right? And then beyond this, you also have a lot of foreign universities that have come into India. About 19-20 foreign universities are coming to India. They don't offer BTech. But what they offer is, BS in those kind of pure sciences. And there are a lot of them are research oriented also. So you must keep an option for those kind of things. University of Liverpool, University of Bristol, University of York, and 19 campuses have come to India, and all of them seem to be offering a lot of BS programs, undergrad programs on pure sciences. So keep looking out for that. And besides that, you look at all the liberal universities that you have in the country, the Ashoka, the Flame, the Kiya, the Ahmedabad University, the Sept University, and quite a few other universities that you have in the country. Most of them at this point in time do give a BS program on pure sciences. But keep looking out for that. At some point in time, we'll also talk of what are the good institutions that you must be looking out for, and I'll also name them as we move along. But at this point in time, it is for me to introduce to you that one of the pathways for a PCM student who doesn't want to do BTech is an undergrad program on pure sciences. And that is the objective with which I'm coming in. Now, the second pathway for most of these people is, of course, if you're interested in analytics and data, then what are the kind of programs that you want? Because one is you actually have a curious bent of mind, you are research oriented, you read a lot, and you don't mind an abstract career, you don't mind a non-linear career, you're very strong in mathematics, so we talked of pure sciences. Now, the second part of it is when students are analytical, data driven, they can make stories out of data, they can read through data, you can read through between the lines of that kind of data that's presented. Then there are another bunch of courses that you must look for, which is essentially these are students who enjoy numbers, patterns, and data interpretation. These are students who like finding insights within the data and not just solving equations. These are students who are comfortable with Python, Excel, and analytical software also. These are students who are interested in real world impact, business, finance, policy, economics. You're interested in these kind of spaces, and you're very outcome focused with strong career ROI mindset. If you're into this kind of a thing, you're essentially enjoy numbers, understand patterns, want to interpret data, want to read through the numbers, and you're very strong analytically and are data driven, then you actually have another bunch of courses. This is the second pathway for PCM students. What are the kind of courses that you have? You actually have BSc in data sciences. You can do that. You don't need to do a BTech. You do a BSc in data sciences, or you do BSc in artificial intelligence. You do BSc in machine learning. You do BSc in statistics. Earlier also we talked about it, here also I'm again repeating, BSc in statistics. You do BSc in mathematics and computing. By the way, mathematics and computing, a lot of people offer it as a BTech program, and quite a few of them also offer it as a BSc program. And by the way, I prefer a BSc program because you're very strong. Foundationally, you're only learning mathematics and computing and not trying to convert that into a coding to a job and those kind of things. So I prefer it that way. And then there's a core programs that are covered. If you want to look at specialized programs, you have actuarial sciences, you have quantitative finance, you have business analytics, you have risk analytics, you have econometrics. These are specialized programs. And then you also have interdisciplinary programs, which is data science and economics. You have computational social sciences, you have decision science, you have behavioral data science, you have AI and data analytics. So these are interdisciplinary in that sense. But if you look at this kind of program that you have, we're dealing with those people who understand mathematics, rather are really enjoying data, analytics of that, interpreting numbers, and also bringing out some stories out of the data. And more importantly, you are very comfortable with the data sets and trying to analyze that because you enjoy that space. By the way, who are the institutions that are offering these programs? You have IIT Madras also offering it. A lot of liberal universities like Ashoka, Flame, these people offer these programs. ISI Kolkata offers a lot of these programs. Chennai Mathematical Institute again offers a lot of these programs. Kiya University offers this. NMIMS, and many of the liberal universities. In fact, most universities would be offering these kind of programs. The only possibility is that some of them might be having it as a BTech program, but ideally you should go for a BSc program in any of these sciences. Now, what's the third part of it? I told you about the third pathway, So we talked of, pure sciences, then we talked of analytical and data kind of interest levels. The third one is if you're interested in creative and design. What it means is you have a strong sense of aesthetics and creativity. You enjoy creating experiences, not just solving problems. You are a student who understands user behavior and design empathy. You are a student who is comfortable with feedback, iteration and ambiguity. So which means that if something is wrong and a feedback comes to you, you can course correct yourself because you're not egoistic and don't mind a good feedback to improve the product. You must have great empathy about the whole thing. And you're willing to build a portfolio and not just marks and all, which means that most of the people who actually do anything in creative and design, they are known for the kind of portfolio that they have and not the kind of CGP and the marks that they have on the score sheets. Your portfolio speaks for you, then your marks that speak for you. So if you're interested, if your alignment is into this, then you actually are dealing with creative and design kind of courses. And what are the courses that you have within this? You have product design, industrial design, communication design, UI and UX design, game design. And you also have, and these are basic BTech programs, and you will also have jewelry design and fashion design. About 20-25 designs are there. Even automotive also, you actually have that design thing also, right? So you actually have every, manufacturing, every service facility that you have, there is a core which is design, because it needs to, speak to a certain kind of an audience. And to that extent, there is a courseware that is created for that. Right? If you go to Gujarat, there are a lot of jewelry designers and they study jewelry design as a proper subject before they get on there. Right? So you actually have those BTech programs, what we call BTech programs. And then you have creative tech also, which is interactive design, experience design, AR and VR design, digital media design, computational design. And then you have media and film also, which is the visual communication, the digital content creation, the animation film design, the human computer interaction. So you actually have multiple sets of programs that are possible if you're a PCM student and like creativity and design element. Right. And obviously, as a country, we have created NIDs, you all know that. So there are quite a few NIDs that obviously should be a first port of call if you are interested in this kind of a thing, which is that you're a PCM student, you don't want to do BTech, and you're interested in creative and design elements of it. So NIDs is the first port of call. Then many of the IITs also have now started the BTech program. So you should look at that very closely. The UID Ahmedabad is a very good option for you. The SPA, which is the Schooling of Planning and Architecture. And the examination here is NATA examination through which you go there. That's an opportunity for you. IIT Bombay has a ITC School of Design. There are quite a few universities that have come up which are only into design element, right? The MIT University School of Design is another thing. Srishti School, which is based in Manipal in Bangalore, is a fantastic place for you to do a design course there. In fact, BITS Pilani recently has launched a campus in Bombay which offers a design program only. You must look at that. CEPT University is one of the earliest entrants in the design framework. You must look at that. Ahmedabad University. So you have quite a few universities which are offering design elements, and that you must be looking for. Now the fourth pathway. What is the fourth pathway? So we talked of till now three pathways. One is the pure sciences, analytical and data, that's the second part of it. The third one is design and creative. If you're very inclined towards design and creative, you actually have another third pathway, right? And the fourth pathway is the professional track that you don't want to do BTech, you don't want to do, not interested in business analytics and data and all, you're not interested in research, you're not interested in pure sciences, you're not creative, you don't have a creative bent of mind, and you're very firm about your professional career, that I want to build a professional career and become professional. Then you have the fourth option for you, which is, and by the way, who's a student who wants a professional career? He is one who has very early clarity about their career direction. You want to say, I want to be a lawyer. Simple. So you're very clear that you want to be a lawyer and you work on that. Or you prefer a structured, step-by-step pathway. You're action-oriented individual who like practical work. So you're not getting into reading, researching and all. You're very action-oriented. You want to be on the field, or you want to be very clear about how you want to pursue your life and your career path, right? You're focused on career outcomes and very early employability. It means that you don't want to prolong this thing of education. You want to say, I want to finish my graduation and want to get on a job, and this is the kind of job that I want, which is what BTech has been. But I do suspect that as you move along, BTech will also get into a question mark of whether it's right thing for you. And you're very comfortable with specific lifestyle demands of the profession. Say, for example, in lawyer, you don't have rest unless it's a Sunday, right? So you're very clear about the kind of lifestyle demands that are made on that. Now, if you agree on that, which is a professional track, you can be in aviation, you can be in maritime, you can be in law, you can be in business, you can be in hospitality, you can be in finance. For example, in aviation, you can be a commercial pilot training, or you can do a BSc in aviation and become something else. You can be into airport management, because airport room management, it's a separate or specific skill set for that matter. You can be in maritime where you can do BS nautical science, you can do shipping and port management and so on and so forth. There are BTech and MBA programs also for people who want to be in maritime industry. Then you can do law, BA LLB, BBA LLB, anything for that matter. In fact, there is a BSc LLB and BTech LLB also, which is a 5-year integrated program. Right, so you can do law and become a lawyer, or work for companies, or become a consultant, or work for NGOs or government, or any of that, or even for that matter, you can work in companies where you become a part of the law department or the legal department of the companies, because increasingly there are more compliances, and more compliances mean more lawyers who interpret the law, right? Or you can be in business. You can do a BBA and MBA integrated. Quite a few IIMs now are offering a BBA plus MBA integrated programs, right? Or you can be in management and entrepreneurship also, for that matter, because you want to join a family firm or those kind of things. You can do entrepreneurship. Or you can be in hospitality, because hospitality is increasing dramatically, and that is least likely to be touched by the AI that's coming in, because anything that has people to people connect is out there to stay, right? So you actually can do hotel management, hospitality management, culinary arts, any of those kind of things. Or you can be in finance also. You can do BA and BSc in economics or finance or financial economics or investment banking, be a merchant banker. That's the other pathway that you have, which is the fourth pathway. And here again, you actually have quite a few institutions that are offering this kind of programs. For example, for law, you all know NLUs are offering it. All NLUs, you have it, about 25, 26 of them. Every NLU has a very good law program, and that's a great option for you. About 80,000 students take the CLAT examination to be a part of the NLUs. And for a PCM student, that's a great option too. Or you can join in the hotel management. There are quite a few hotel management institutes in the country. Some owned by the government of India, and some are very private in nature, but still they give you an option, because they give you internship within their own hotel, like the Taj Hotel, the Oberoi Hotels. All these people have their own school of hotel management. What they do is they start training the students there, and from there they take them to internship in their own hotels, and at some point in time they give you employment. That's a great option for you. Or many of the IIMs now are giving an integrated program for BBA and MBA, or even BBA and stop it there. So you can also look at that. Then for maritime, you have Indian Maritime University and a few other universities. You have quite a few, as I told you, IIMs are offering just the BBA program, but beyond that also is a possibility. But all these are possibilities for you, and you should be looking at that. See, that's the fourth option for you. Now, the important thing that you should all know is who should do what. Please don't do it because the others are doing it. The problem that we have is that we are driven by how people have succeeded in their lives. Very less do we understand that their success might be depending on how their interest was as compared to our interest. My interest might be different from the interest of someone else, right? So you should be very clear about what your interest levels are, and then get into that. If you are very curious, pure sciences is the one. If you're very analytical, data analytics is one of them. If you're very creative, design and anything to do with that is good for you. And if you're very clear and focused and want very immediate outcomes, then you need to go through the professional track. These are the 4 tracks that you have at this point in time. The important thing is this for all of us, that at this point in time, there is a big challenge in terms of understanding whether a student who is opting for BTech at this point in time, when they graduate in 2030, what are the kind of outcomes you can expect, and how changed would the world be because of AI. Because we all know that AI is going to impact our lives and jobs for sure. So in such a case, what is being taught today at this point in time, how relevant is it in 2030 is what we're dealing with, and that is something that you should be worried about. And from that perspective, keep looking at this, all these institutions of national importance which are run by the government of India. Keep looking at most of the liberal universities that are offering many of these programs, which also have a professional pathway, by the way. So they also guarantee you, or they actually are working on a student outcome, which actually is a job. Like you go to Ashoka, they don't offer a BTech program, but most of the graduates find a job. And same thing is Kiya and many of these liberal universities, right? And third option that's now opened up is many of these foreign universities that have set up campus in India. And that's a very, very good option, because why it is something that you must consider. Of course, the cost is slightly higher. Is why you must consider this is because these guys are trying to bring the same curriculum that they're teaching anywhere else. So if you're in a global mindset, if you want to understand what is happening around the world, these people are the first port of call in terms of them understanding what is the need of the hour at this point in time and how the world has changed. And they change the curriculum immediately, and that same curriculum is coming back to India also. There are about 19-20 campuses that are opening up in 2026. Keep an eye on them, right? For example, when you look at it, University of Southampton is based in Gurugram. University of York is based in Bombay. Deakin University is based in Gift City. Illinois Institute of Technology is based in Mumbai. University of Bristol is based in Mumbai. University of Liverpool is based in Karnataka, and on and on. The important that you must know is earlier we were not recommending that, but now we recommend it because all these are UGC approved. They're coming through a proper channel approved by the government of India, where the degree that you get here in any of these foreign universities is equivalent to a degree that is valid in India. But more importantly, the same degree is valid outside of India also, which may not be the case when you were studying in something else, which is possibly an Indian, because we're dealing with, the question of where did you study from? A University of Liverpool would always work when you want to be a global citizen than any other thing, because you don't need to explain what University of Liverpool is. It's been there for 200-300 years. Most of its graduates are all over the world, and it always works for you, right? So that's another option that you must look at, because all these institutions, by the way, the reason why I'm talking of these foreign universities is they don't give a BTech program. They only give BS programs. Like, for example, you look at University of Bristol, they give BS in data sciences. They give BSc in economics and data science. They give BSc in economics. When you look at University of Liverpool, they give computer science BSc. Biomedical sciences BSc, CS with software development BSc, business management is what they give. They don't give a BPA, but they gave a BA in business management honors. They gave a BSc honors in accounting and finance. They give game design, BSc in game design. So what they're doing is they're essentially, bringing their learnings from what they've learned outside of India in terms of the adaptability of what is being sought after the world over across the spectrum. And the same curriculum is coming to India. So to that extent, they would have been more evolved in their understanding of what is needed for the world. And that helps you. And more importantly, as I told you, these universities are in the top 500 of the universities across the world, because the government of India is only allowing those which are in the top 500 universities in the world rankings to come to India and set up campus in India. They also have a very attractive scholarships, so it also works for you, right? So the option that you have is to look at the kind of programs and courses that these people are giving, and see whether you want to join here or similar program which is in INI or a liberal university or any such university, right? And the reason why I'm saying that you must look at it very closely is because it is vetted for what is needed by the industry world over. And to that extent, the same thing is coming to India. They would have actually experienced the whole journey and then brought that into India. And all of them don't give a BTech program, they only give a BS program. And that BSc program is something that you should be looking for very closely. And talked of University of Bristol and University of Liverpool, you look at other universities also, you actually have very, very good programs that are giving. For example, University of Aberdeen gives you a MA Honours in Business Management, they MA Honours in Economics, but more importantly, BSc in Computing Science, BSc in Data Science. Similarly, you look at Victoria University, it gives you Bachelors of Business. They don't give you BBA, they give you Bachelors of Business. They give you a Bachelor of Information Technology. We give BTech in Information Technology. They give Bachelor. And these are 3-year programs also. So to that extent, you actually save 1 year also. In the age of AI, ideally, your 4-year program must come down, because a lot of learning that you would do earlier by researching, it's now available because of AI, right? The Victoria University gives you a Bachelor of Data Science. They give you a Bachelor of Cyber Security. And some of them are BTech programs in engineering colleges. Similarly, University of York gives you a BA in Business and Management. They give you BSc in Economics, BSc in Computer Science, BSc in CS with AI, BSc with CS and Cyber Security, BA in Business and Creative Industries. So keep looking at these kind of programs, because that's one option for you. So you actually have the courses that are offered by institutions of national importance, which are moderately priced. The best quality students go there, NIDs, NLUs, ISERs, ISIs, and so on and so forth. Then you actually have all the IITs which are offering some of the business analytics courses and those kind of things. Of course, some of them are also giving, the IITs are also giving some of the BS programs also, by the way, right? And then you have the third pathway, which is professional programs. But keep looking at these BS programs, pure sciences, then you deal with data analytics, then you deal with creative and design, and then you deal with the professional track. But look at the institutions that we're talking of is INIs and liberal universities and some of these great public and private universities that we have, and then the foreign campus in India. That's how you make that setting. And once you understand that, you'll know that at least there's an opening for me, at least there's a pathway for me that is beyond BTech. It is for you to decide which one you want to do, a BTech or non-BTech, right? That's your call, obviously. But don't push yourself to do a BTech in any bad college. It's far better that if you don't get into the right college, you come back to BSc, exercise all your options. There are innumerable ones out here, and then decide on those kind of pathways. Maybe at a point in time, this pathway is far, far better than the pathway that you gave up. And as I told you, I am very worried at this point in time with the kind of education that's happening in the BTech colleges in this country and the kind of grading of the colleges, the good, bad and ugly colleges that you have. A BTech is not a guarantee for a job. And possibly, as Elon Musk and Jensen Huang have said, possibly understanding concept level understanding of pure sciences might be the right way for you to decide and be resilient and be flexible of how you're going to churn your career pathway. I hope this helps. I'll be more than happy to cover any of these things as I move along, just bucket by bucket or even college by college or even course by course. I'll be happy to do that. You write to me on this message box here. I'll be happy to cover that for you. But please understand what I'm saying. It's very important for you to keep your options open. All that I'm requesting is keep your options open and then decide for yourself. Don't just pre-decide saying, I want to do a BTech, come what may, and get onto the worst college and have no outcome whatsoever. That is a dangerous thing for you, because as I told you, the latest report that we have is 85% of engineering graduates are still not placed. And I'm talking of March. While 88% of the employers are still there in the colleges to acquire these graduates. That is a dangerous sign for you. Thank you so much. Namaste.